Have you ever walked past a house whose windows are dark, gates shut tight, and felt a chill you couldn't explain? Have you ever heard a child's cry and thought it was just the wind? Have you ever believed the system to protect the most vulnerable among us? Today's story will question your belief. This is the Nithari murder case, a horror that unfolded in plain sight, a betrayal of justice, a scar on our consciousness. I am Suhana Vash, a journalist, a voice for the silenced, and you are listening to The Skull Collector. Nithari, a modest neighborhood in Noida, lower middle class homes, cramped, dusty alleys, families struggling to survive, children playing in the streets. It's kind of a place where neighbors share meals, where kids chase kites in open lots. But behind the walls of House D5 in Sector 31, a nightmare was growing. Silent, unseen, unstopped for years. When the truth broke, it left behind 26 skulls, mostly children, and a question that burns. How did no one see it? Let's start from the beginning. Nithari is ordinary, a stone throw from Delhi's glamour, but invisible to its spotlight. The first child vanished in 2004. Her name was Anjali. Just 10 years old, bright eyes, loved chasing butterflies. She went to buy sweets from a local shop, but never came back. Her parents ran to the police. They begged, they wept. And the police responded?
अरे जरूर भाग गई होगी किसी लड़के के साथ, आ जाएगी वापस.
Just a 10-year-old ran away? Anjali was gone forever. From 2004 to 2006, children were disappearing. Over 38 children reported missing, mostly girls, some boys, all from poor families, many from the slum behind the House D5. No headline screamed their names, no police task force was informed, no media vans were outside. The police? They dismissed the complaint.
No evidence of crime, that means there is no need of FIR. भाई अब जाओ यहाँ से.
Just silence. Let me ask you, would the police have ignored these cases if the children lived in Delhi's elite colonies, or if their parents had wealth or influence? Why were these children seen as disposable? Then came Payal. She was different, not a child. 20 years old, vibrant, dreaming for a better life. She worked as a domestic help. Payal went to House D5, allegedly to meet Moninder Singh Pandher, a wealthy owner, on October 12, 2006, but never returned. Payal had something others didn't have. A father who refused to be ignored. Nandlal, a labourer, no education, no connection, but a heart full of fire. He went to the police station day after day. He demanded the answers. He tracked Payal's phones. The last signal came from House D5. December 29, 2006. Two local residents just tipped off the police. They were parents too. Their daughters had vanished. They pointed to a drain behind House D5. The police finally acted. They entered the property. What they found turned Nithari into a graveyard. In a shallow, stinking drain were plastic bags, torn, rotting. Inside? Inside were skulls, bones, children's clothes, tiny frayed sandals, body parts. The remains of 19 children and young women. The nation woke up. TV vans flooded Nithari. Local gathered furiously, pelting stones at police, demanding justice. Nithari was no longer invisible. They arrested two men, Surendra Kohli, the house help, who was poor, illiterate, a class 6 dropout from a tribal village in Uttar Pradesh, and Muninder Singh Pandher, the owner, wealthy, educated, a businessman with an export empire. Kohli confessed his words, bone-chilling. He lured children with sweets, with coins, with false promises. He strangled them, sexually assaulted them, dismembered their bodies, sometimes ate their organs, threw the remains in the drain. Kohli said Pandher knew nothing. Pandher claimed he was innocent. The police? They took the easy path. Let's break down the accused. Muninder Singh Pandher lived in luxury, travelled abroad, drove expensive cars, a man of privilege. Surendra Kohli, a servant, no voice, no power, a man the system could crush. Guess who bore the blame? Kohli became the monster, and Pandher, he slipped through in most cases. But let me ask you, can 26 bodies pile up in a backyard without the owner knowing? A drain full of skulls right behind his house, and he didn't notice? Do you believe that? Let's remember the victims. The CBI identified 19 victims, mostly children, some young women. Each had a story. Anjali, just 10 years old, loved butterflies, wanted to be a dancer. Deepika, just 8 years old, adored drawing with chalk. Her mother still keeps her sketches. Rimpa Haldar, just 14 years old, dreamed of being a teacher, raped and murdered in 2005. Her case was the first conviction. Aarti, just 7 years old, sang lullabies to her brother. Her tiny shoes were found in the drain. Nisha, just 9 years old, helped her mother sell vegetables. Her smile lit up the slum. Pinky Sarkar, just 25 years old, a domestic worker hoping to save for her wedding, who was killed in 2006. And Payal, just 20 years old, her father's fight brought the case to light. Her clothes identified her remains. But 5 sets of remains, they have no names, no families to claim them, just bones in a drain. These were not just skulls, they were lives, dreams. The parents of Nithari's victims, they were poor, living in slums, working as laborers, vendors, or maids. They searched tirelessly. Mothers walked barefoot through the Noida street. Fathers knocked on every door, clutching faded photographs, begging for help. Pappu Lal lost his 8-year-old daughter. He moved away from Nithari. The pain was too much. We don't have money to fight for justice, he said. Ashok Kumar lost his 5-year-old son. He runs a small footwear shop. His son would be 22 now. He has lost hope. The system failed us, he told the reporters. These families faced apathy. Police laughed at their pleas, called their children runaways, told them to stop wasting time. They were invisible until the drain was opened. Imagine being a parent, your child vanishes, you beg the police, they shut the door in your face. How does that feel? The investigation was a mess. The CBI took over on January 11, 2007. After public outrage forced action, they filed 16 charge sheets for murder, rape, abduction, and evidence destruction. Kohli was charged in all 16 cases. Pandher in 5 plus 1 for immoral trafficking. The CBI found more bones, 30 more fragments, legs, torsos, skulls. Autopsy showed surgical precision. Some suspected organ trade. A nearby doctor was investigated. No evidence was found. Kohli's confession was recorded February 27, 2007. After 60 days in custody, he admitted to killing 16 victims, 9 girls, 2 boys, 5 women. He described lowering them, strangling them, dismembering them. But the investigation? It was flawed. Evidence was mishandled, documents lost, confessions questioned. The Allahabad court later called it a betrayal of public trust. The trial dragged on for years. Kohli and Pandher were convicted for Rimpa Haldar's rape and murder, both sentenced to death. May 12, 2010, Kohli got another death penalty for an 8-year-old girl's murder. July 24, 2017, both convicted for Pinky Sarkar's murder, death sentences again. Kohli faced death sentences in 12 cases, Pandher in 2 cases. But then a twist. October 16, 2023, the Allahabad High Court acquitted them, Kohli in 12 cases, Pandher in 2. Reason? Lack of evidence, botched investigation. The court criticized CBI, said they demonized Kohli, ignored organ trade angles, failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Kohli remains in jail, just convicted in 1 case, serving life imprisonment. Pandher, he walked free. The Supreme Court is now reviewing the CBI's appeal set for March 25, 2025. But the families, justice feels like a mirage. The trials dragged on for years. February 13, 2009, Kohli and Pandher were convicted for Rimpa Haldar's rape and murder, both sentenced to death. May 12, 2010, Kohli got another death penalty for an 8-year-old girl's murder. Both convicted for Pinky Sarkar's murder, death sentences again. The trials dragged on for years. February 13, 2009, Kohli and Pandher were convicted for Rimpa Haldar's rape and murder, both sentenced to death. May 12, 2010, Kohli got another death penalty for an 8-year-old girl's murder. July 24, 2017, both convicted for Pinky Sarkar's murder, death sentences again. Kohli faced death sentences in 12 cases, Pandher in just 2. But then a twist. October 16, 2023, the Allahabad High Court acquitted them, Kohli in 12 cases, Pandher in 2. Reason? Lack of evidence, botched investigation. The court criticized the CBI, said they demonized Kohli, ignored organ trade angles, failed to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Kohli remains in jail, convicted in 1 case, serving life imprisonment. Pandher? He walked free. The Supreme Court is now reviewing the CBI's appeal set for March 25, 2025. But for the families, justice feels like a mirage. Let's ask the hard question. Where were the police in 2004 when Anjali vanished, when 38 children were reported missing? Why did it take Nandlal's fight, a poor laborer's persistence, to force the system to act? Why were slum families ignored? Why were their children's lives worthless? Why did the CBI fumble the evidence? Why did the system protect the powerful? And why, after 26 skulls, is justice still slipping away? The Nithari case isn't just about murder. It's about systematic failure, about police apathy, about a society that looked away, about monsters thriving in silence. The families still wait. Some have given up. Some hold on to faded photos. Some pray for closure. But we will not let the stories fade. You have been listening to The Skull Collector. I'm Suhana Vash, a journalist, a voice for the forgotten. This was episode 1, The House of Horrors. We step into another shadow, another crime, another truth, India buried. Until then, ask questions, demand answers, never let the silence win. Every skull has a story, and we are here to tell it.